Hello and welcome back to Hold the Line Sports, where we do the work so you don't have to. Skeleton crew again, as we attempt to navigate our decidedly busy schedules. I don't have a snappy intro this time, so we'll do the old-fashioned. Will, tell me how your week has been so far and how everything's going for you.
I mean, it's going well. I actually just bought a car today, so now
Oh,
we
that's what I
will.
wanted to ask you about. Yes, this is the intro.
Yeah.
I want to know about this vehicle.
So it's. I just got it from a friend. You never know what you're going to get out of a used car. So at least we went through a trusted person. So, um, it's a nice little Ford Escape. It's like a
Okay.
burnt orange color. Not my favorite color, but
Oof.
it does the job. When you get a 2014 car with only 120,000 miles on it for $5,500, you take it.
Especially with how your prior vehicle was running. Is
Yeah,
it is
with
is it
no with
cooler? Does the AC work in this one?
yes, it blows perfectly fine in this one,
I
and
think
it is
that's, like, the
glorious.
key. Yeah, I think that's the key. Because
Oh,
you were
I
getting
took one
right
test
into
drive.
summer.
Oh, yeah, I took one test drive, I was like, "Oh, airworks, got it."
I remember whenever it first started messing up and you were, like it was in the summer months and you're, like, miserable driving. So I'm glad
Yes,
I'm
it
glad you got
was
that taken
so
care of.
bad,
That's actually
so
huge.
bad. Mhm.
Alright, you've got the agenda prepped for us. I guess I mean, there's nothing might as well just go ahead and get started with it. Probably be a pretty brief episode since it's just us 2. We'll just talk through some stuff, and that'll be it.
Word. So, we know we always start with the random stats.
Oh, yeah, I'm
This
ready
one
for it.
this one is probably my favorite one to date.
You saved it for me too. I haven't heard
Mhm.
any of this, so this is news to me as well.
The Oakland A's, or just the A's,
Okay.
have hit exactly 1 home run on opening day every year since 2016.
That I can't. So where'd you go to find that one?
ChatGPT. Yeah,
Just
I use a
give
lot of
me a
ChatGPT,
stat. Just give me
and
a
then I
stat today.
and then I fact check it, and then it was correct.
That's insane.
And then I'll usually check ChatGPT and the Twitters usually,
Yeah,
and occasionally
they'll
Reddit.
verify whatever. Yeah, they'll verify.
Occasionally
Reddit will
Reddit as
verify
well.
whatever. Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
verify anything. That's actually insane. That's like a deep dive too. That's not like wins and losses stuff.
I
That's
saw
we're
that
getting into
stat, and
the
I was
nitty
like,
gritty. Yeah.
"That's
Oh,
hilarious.
that's
I have
perfect.
to
Yeah,
use that one."
that's perfect. Okay, I like that. All right, what do you got first for us?
First, we can go into we'll go into fair or foul first. The one where I usually say a take,
Yep.
um, and then you have to decide if it's fair or foul. I'll kind of gonna rope this one in a little bit as well. Um, so we just recently saw Shohei take the home run lead
Mhm.
away from Judge. So we got a kind of got a chalk MVP race right now with Shohei and Judge again.
Yep.
But the take is Shohei will go 50-50 again. Currently, he is sitting at 17 home runs and 10 stolen bases.
40 what are we 45 games in probably?
Something like that, yeah.
40 maybe a little I'll say 45 just for math's sake.
We'll have to get going a little bit on stolen bases, but I remember he had two last year as well.
So he's pacing hmm. I am gonna say foul. I don't think he does it this year. I actually think it's gonna be like a 40-30 kinda year. I think it's like a 40-30. Is he gonna start when's he gonna start pitching? Have they ramped up his bullpens, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he'll pitch till probably like August or September though,
Okay.
or
Oh,
pitch
well
in
then,
game.
well then, you got that's DH, so like they're gonna be less careful, I guess, with him. Like he's gonna be able to just play regular baseball, right? At
Yeah,
least until August. So but I think the thing that concerns me is like we're 45, 50 games in and we're only at 10 steals. That means he's not actively trying to steal that much. 10 steals probably puts him what in the top 20 of stolen bases.
yeah.
If you're going to be in the, if you're going to get 50, you got to be in the top 5 in stolen bases. Generally, it's in these types of years. I would think more of like a 40 home run, 30 stolen base season.
I think he'll get 50 home runs again. I think he'll be in the 30s for stolen bases because I think I think there's a reason he's not going. I think I saw what happened with Acuna, him stealing a bunch of bags, getting some injuries, and then I also think just generally he's rehabbing his shoulder, putting a lot of stress on his body, doing some bullpens, all that kind of stuff. So I think they're literally just they're trying to make him a little bit more careful
And he
on the
hurt himself
bases.
running bases, right? That's when he hurt
Yeah,
himself.
last year in the World Series he
So,
tore his labrum,
that
so
probably has something to do with it too.
for sure,
Because you're not
for
gonna
sure.
stop these guys from the head first, like the hook slide. You're not gonna stop these guys from
hmm
doing it. It's the easiest way to avoid a tag. So it's also like the most dangerous for your shoulder.
He is the one guy that does for some reason go in feet first.
When did he? It was a hook slide though. It might have been on like a double or something that he was
Probably something like
stretched. That
that.
was probably. I think that's what it was. Because he was past the bag. So yeah, he did. He does go in feet first, which does help him.
But I still don't think he
He'd
gets
have
it.
to really get going, dude. Pretty much all these guys. I'm looking at the stolen base leaders now, and pretty much all these guys have got to get going if
I
they
think
want to get to
Luis
50.
Roberts in first right now with like 17, something like that.
O'Neal Cruz is actually in first with 18.
Oh, he passed him.
But yeah,
But yeah,
he's got 17.
okay, okay. The
Imagine if he
next one,
didn't hit 186,
I know. Yeah,
Luis. Imagine.
yeah. I think he's not. This guy that we cracked out to be that 280 and 30 bombs. I think he can hit like 240, 250 with like
Yeah,
25 and steal a
I
bunch of bags. But
I
I
think
just
it's
think
a
he
perfect
doesn't want to be in
storm of
Chicago. Yeah,
exactly. It's a perfect storm of like he's under. I think he was going to underperform the expectations anyways, but it's exacerbated by the fact that he plays for the White Sox, who have been terrible for years.
yeah, for sure, for sure. My next one is that we've seen this going on as well. Twins will stay hot and win the division.
Who did I pick to win the division at the beginning of the year? Do we remember this?
The Minnesota Twins.
I picked the Minnesota Twins to win this division. So there is just regardless of like my like any interior thought, I have to say fair because I picked them at the beginning before the season even started. Um, and I mean, I the version of ball that they're playing. I mean, obviously, you're not going to go 9-1 on your 10-game stretches for the rest of the year, right? So like, there's going to be a little bit of regression, but I like the way they've been pitching. Ober's looked really good. Um, I think the bullpen's great. Like, I think they have a pretty strong bullpen. With a good closer. You got a strong bullpen with a good closer. There's a lot of pieces there to make a solid run. The issue is the Tigers are extremely good as well. So I think it's going to be tough. I will still say fair just for my narrative. Um, it's probably more likely that they win a wild card, get a wild card berth. But for my sake, because of I'd love to be right. I'm going to say fair.
I'm going to agree with the chat and I'm going to say foul. I think the Tigers are too good. I didn't choose the Tigers to win the division. I didn't choose the Twins either. I chose the Royals, and they've been so great. Um, but yeah, I think the Tigers are just too consistent, and they're like both pitching staffs have been really good recently. I trust the Tigers pitching staff more. Um,
Absolutely.
Reese Olson did just go down, but just a little. I think it's like finger or something like that. So hopefully it's not
Yeah.
too bad. And then honestly, I mean the freaking Tigers offense. I I might trust the Twins a little bit more. They got a little bit more names there, I think.
If they
But
stay healthy.
yeah, that's the thing as well. That chat said injuries
Yep.
always happen for the Twins,
And
but
that's if you watch the AL Central preview, that's literally what I said. I was like, if they have this one year where that because you remember the one year they were healthy and they like broke the record for home runs. It's
yep,
like if they're healthy, like that's the kind of team that they can hit their way to this thing. But it's just they've dealt with the injury bug for the last 2 or 3 years, and so it's hard to like be on their side. But I just made a call. I was like, I feel like their injury luck has been so bad. Like they've got to have a year where it kind of goes the other way. And so far it really hasn't. But they've treaded water and now they're pretty healthy now. They got Royce back for well, they
now
started
for now.
for now. Um they lost Correa for, like, it's like 7 days, though. He'll be back, and, and their pitching
He
staff
wasn't
is
good
healthy
to
for the
begin
most.
with anyway.
True, so he wasn't hurting them. The pitching staff's been healthy for the most part, and the bullpens look good. So the pieces are there if they make it for the full season.
Sweet. Next one, we will go into this guy. His team just beat the Braves today. But this one is James Wood is going to go 30-30 in his first full season. He's currently at 12 home runs and 10 stolen bases.
Let me tell you, I am a huge fan of this guy. I think this dude can play.
This kid's good.
Um, it's still fair. It's still a little early. Rookies always have like this period between like June and August where pitchers kind of figure him out a little bit, and they'll go through like a 2-month rut. If he was pacing a little bit, what were your numbers again?
12 home runs and 10 stolen bases.
And you think 30-30?
30-30.
I'm going to say foul, but he's going to compete. I just think just young guys, there's always this, like the midsummer swoon is what they call it. There's always this period where they fall off around the All-Star break a little bit before it. And then they kind of they adjust again. The good ones will adjust again in September and start to produce some more numbers. Just trying to see if he's kind of slowed down because he's on my fantasy team. And I feel like the power has slowed down a little bit since the start of May or like the last like 10 days of May. So he might be in the average. The average is fine. He's still swinging it, dude. That's 3 multi-hit games in the last 5. A lot of strikeouts, though. You see that? It's a lot of strikeouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say
I am.
no. 2020 or
Yeah.
25-25. He competes with both.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If it was 25-25, I would have said 100%, hands down. I'm still going to go fair. I do think he does it because I think that dude is a demon.
Well, he's got the I love the swing plane, and you remember Ryan Howard. He's got the Ryan Howard, like that natural pop to left center. So if he like stays within himself and works, he's fine with that type of swing. You worry with the young guys and they just start getting pull happy because it's easier. But if he can stay middle of the field and work the left center side of the field, he's going to continue to hit. I just think that he's going to go through. There will be a rut at some point, and I'll have to put him on the bench for a month or so, and then I'll put him back in the starting lineup.
Oh yeah. I mean, looking back at this too, though, the Nats got a haul for Soto from the
That's
Padres.
such facts, though. That's such facts.
C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, and James Wood, who are all stars for them now.
And it was like unpopular too. It was like I was fine with it because that's like growth mentality. Like you're going to be good in the future, and it's rare that it happens this way. But they all panned out one way or another. It doesn't normally happen like that. Normally, you get like 2 of the 3 if it's a good trade. If it's a bad trade, it's 1 of the 3. But jury's still out a little bit. But I think all 3 of them are. I mean, those are starters. Like those are legitimate MLB players. Whether they become all stars, I don't know all of them, but I think a couple of them are for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean James Wood can be a best player on a championship team. C.J. Abrams is looking great right now. He's hitting like
nasty.
almost 300. He's just got to work on his defense, in my opinion.
Yep.
But
I don't think he will be a shortstop for his career. I just don't think.
I don't think so either. And then Mackenzie Gore is striking out so many hitters. It is ridiculous.
His problem has been his same problem since he's one of my favorite pitchers. So I keep track of him. That his problem is high pitch counts, like per at bat. Like every at bat is like I'm trying to K this dude up. And so he's gonna have like good strikeout numbers, but he's also gonna throw 7 pitches per freaking at bat. So he only goes 4 2/3. Like he just gets tired by the 5th. So he's not gonna go deep into ball games, but he is going to light up the strikeout feed.
Yeah, I want to read you this this last stat line because he's on my fantasy team. Against Baltimore, Mackenzie Gore went 3 2/3.
Yep.
You think, oh, not that great. 9 Ks in 3 2/3, but 10 hits and 2 walks.
I mean, what are we?
Only 2 earned.
It's just hard to live that way. Like it's just hard to. It's
He
hard to live
genuinely
that
like
way.
with those numbers, he genuinely seems like he had bases loaded every inning and got out of it with only giving
It
up 2.
and the problem is, like, when you get into those deep counts, you they see the stuff enough. So, like, it's still wipeout stuff, but if they see it enough, like, they're gonna barrels are gonna happen because that's all it takes. That's as a hitter, that's all I wanted. Like, let me see this guy. Like, let me see as many pitches as I can. The more times I see those pitches, the more comfortable I get because I know what he's got. And they're pros, dude. So, like, the more times these pros see what he's got, the better the at-bats are gonna be.
For sure. For sure.
He needs to
To
take,
move
like,
on.
a
Yeah.
he's gotta take a page out of, like, Max Fried's book. You know, like, Max can, like he'll light up the strikeout feed, but he'll also have innings where it's, like, 1, 2, 3, 7 pitches, you
Mhm.
know, because, like, we're just gonna pitch to weak contact. We're not gonna try and do too much. I know who I'm about to face. Like, Gore is trying to strike every hitter out that he faces.
Max Fried is kind of the guy that like takes what the team's giving him. Like he will
Exactly.
have these games where he has 13 Ks and only goes 6, but then he'll also have a game where he throws 90 pitches and goes CG with 2 Ks.
You know who does that? Aces. Aces do
Hmm.
that.
And that's why Max Fried is an ace and should have stayed with the Braves. Sad. Speaking of the Yankees, this last one is that the World Series this year will be a rematch of last year.
It's hard not to put the Dodgers in there. It's really hard not to put them in there. Um I'm gonna say foul. I also preseason prediction was neither New York team will make the postseason, which was the bold take of the year, right? That's aging immeasurably well, right?
Like
Um,
milk.
yeah, they're both like 9 games over 500 and either in first and second place in the division. I think I it's just you can't pick against the Dodgers. Like I just don't have a way to do it. Um, the Yankees is where the question mark is, but then you look at the other teams that are in like first place or competing like in that hunt, and it's like who's the most equipped for a deep playoff run? And I think it's the Yankees, like with the experience that they have, the talent that they have, and the playoff, you know, they've played a lot of playoff games. You also have the two best players in the world on both of those teams. I have to say no, but yeah, I'm gonna say foul. I don't know if I fully believe it though. I don't know if I fully believe it.
See, I'm gonna go fair, but I don't fully believe it just strictly because it's like it is so hard to get
I
there.
mean, it's really hard to do it twice. For the same teams to do
Like
it twice. Do you have like you don't have a stat on that? You don't have a stat
no,
on when was the last
next week,
time
next week.
both, World Series teams from a previous year were in the World Series next year?
Stay tuned. I got that stat coming
I'd
next
love to
week.
know that because that's super hard to do. And I think that's the main reason I'm saying foul. But I think those are two of the top 3 teams in the league is those 2 teams.
Yeah, it's the MLB playoffs. Anything can happen. I'm gonna go fair though. Um, Chad agrees with me. I
Yeah, sad
they're-
face.
they have been both of them have just been on another level. To be honest,
I know.
the Dodgers are leading the best division in baseball, and then the Yankees are leading probably the second best division in baseball. So
They're
yeah,
also
it's
this is a big sign too. They are the 1 and 2 in runs scored per actually I think they're
and
2 and
home runs.
3. Yeah, it's in home runs and then 2 and 3 in runs scored per game. I think the Cubs are the only team that has scored more runs, that's also crazy. Um but the offenses, that's the one thing you can kind of like measure that if teams are just they're going to score a lot of because you can have off days hitting. You're not always going to hit, but if you're finding ways to consistently score runs, it's going to put you in a good position to win those games. So if they're two of the top 3 teams in runs scored, bodes well for them as well.
Yeah, I think it's sadly fair. As yeah,
Dodgers are on a 4-game losing streak though.
true, and yet they're still leading the division somehow.
Yeah, I know. Against 2 teams that are like also playing really good baseball.
Yeah, yeah. But they lost to what, the Angels, wasn't it? It was like they got swept by the Angels for the first time since like 2016, something like that.
Yep, I
No, it
took
was
the Angels,
yeah.
one of those days, they were, like, plus 140, and I took them. I took them to beat the Dodgers, and I won some money. I think, Anderson was pitching, and I was like, "You know, I like this matchup. I think they might win this one."
See, the one thing that scares me with them is that, dude, when their pitching gets healthy, oh my god. The only
Yeah, they're
reason
not
you can
even at
bet
full
against them
strength.
right now is because that the pitching, sometimes you'll see, like, Landon Knack is starting,
Yep.
and you're like, "Okay, well, they got a shot." Then you'll go in and you'll see Glasnow, Yamamoto, Sasaki, just Snell, all that, like,
It's tough. It's a
golly.
gauntlet. It's a gauntlet. And the lineup's healthy too. Ugh, they're dangerous.
Yeah, yeah. But, we can move on to, we can stay with the Dodgers. Um, Shohei officially has the home run lead. He's at 17 now. Are we going to have a chalk MVP race just like last year? Because last year was Otani and Judge. Right now, it's pretty clearly Otani and
Is this
Judge.
is this a fair or foul?
No, this we're just talking.
Because I would have just said fair.
Yeah.
Um, I I mean, dude, just look at it. I think Judge is just a absolute no brainer. Like I just don't. Who, like, tell me who's second, and tell me how close they are to Aaron Judge.
Bregman?
How
Not
close is
even
he to
close.
Aaron Judge?
Not
Like
not
it's
even.
like
Riley Green?
that boy's having a pretty decent year, but he's not doing what no
No.
one's doing what he's doing, like, in any form of production. He's hitting 400. Like, he is still it is May 20th, and he is hitting 400 and, like, 3rd in the league in home runs. It's I just don't think that one's done. That thing is he has to get hurt. That's the only way, and I don't want him to. I want him to continue, like, I want him to have a dominant season. Like, I want it to be a historical season. He's healthy, it's over already. Aaron Judge is the MVP in the American League. Um, I think you can argue a little bit for the National League, and I'm looking, and it's like you can make a case for Freddie if he plays the rest of the season. You can make a case for him, especially if he hits. Dude, he's mashing. Like
Oh yeah.
Freddie's smoking the ball. So you can make a case for him, but there's that fact that he didn't miss that many, like 9, 10 games. He missed like 10
Something
games
like that,
maybe.
I think, yeah.
So, there's a smaller sample size there, which I feel like if you get to the end of the season and it's like, let's say Shohei plays 157 games and then Freddie plays 148. I think if Freddie's numbers are where they are, then he's got a legitimate shot at it. But for right now, if it continues the way that it's going and Shohei looks like this, I see American League's done. I still think it's Shohei. Freddie has an outside chance.
Yeah, I think the MVP, yeah, as you said, it's done in the AL. I think I will be astonished if it's not Otani, and I would literally put my entire house on that it's coming from the NL West. It's gonna be
Yes,
Otani,
yes.
Freeman, or you got you got Tatis potentially, or Corbin Carroll. Those are the
Yeah.
guys that have played at an MVP level in the NL. The only other guy you could argue that's played that way is Kyle Tucker, and I don't. He's been like, but I don't think he's been easily the worst player out of all of them.
Yeah,
Even though I love Kyle Tucker.
he started out super hot and he kind of went through like a little rut. I think he's heating back up though. He hit better this week and hopefully like there's some power numbers that kind of emerge with it this next coming week. Not
And for any
not
power.
this current week, but yeah, for the next one. Because that's generally kind of like the sign is like they start to like work the other way and then the power kind of comes. So I think he's going to heat back up. Looks like he's going to. But yeah, I'm just Tatis would be another good shout. He's taking bags too, and I think he's looked like a completely different player at the plate. He's also playing really good defense, which is it's
Mhm.
not even like he's playing great defense. He's a really good defender out there. So I think that would be like I think it's Freddie and Tatis or like 2A, 2B. I actually might lean towards Tatis, just the sample size is bigger. I still don't think they touch Ohtani right now.
No, no. We can go on to the fact that first off, you said last time in a sign. Drop in the chat. I may be confused. I may be an idiot, but I am confused in what that meant. Um, we can go on to the fact that my second least favorite team was already was talking so much crap that they were going to win the division, and we're what 45 games in, and they've already choked their lead away. The Mets don't have the NL East lead anymore. The Phillies have overtook them, which Phillies are my least favorite team. So, pick your poison. But I do think that it's absolutely hilarious that they have already choked the lead.
Yeah, I think one of the alarming items is Juan Soto a little bit. It just seems, I don't know, it's like clubhouse stuff, I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but like
That and they're pitching
something
around him. I think he's getting frustrated.
like, I mean, it we've talked about this before. It's a good thing for the lineup when that happens because they put so much like focus on one that it allows other players to be. If you're like a great hitter, you kind of want this. Like obviously you want to put up numbers for yourself, but if you're more about winning, this is a good thing because then other players like Pete Alonso benefit from this. Lindor benefits from it. Those guys benefit when the attention is put on another player. But it just seems like he's definitely disgruntled. Like I've heard more than one thing, and I think that's like the main concern that I have is just like what is that all about? Is that like a long-term thing or is it just like a blip in the radar because they are struggling right now. Like they could easily heat back up. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out on. I've never been sold on the pitch. I've told you this, that I wasn't sold on the pitching staff being like an elite level pitching staff for the year. I thought they were like one injury away. I don't think like if you're relying on Griffin Canning and Tyler McGill to be like stables in your rotation, I just don't think you're going to win that many games. I think David Peterson's legit, and so is Kodai. I'm not a big Clay Holmes guy, so you've got like two guys in the rotation that I would be like, those guys are really good at pitching. And then after that, it's like I think you have a depth issue. The bullpens had some blowups. Who was it that had like well, it was because I think Pete made an error.
Yeah,
And
he overthrew the ball to home.
resulted in like a 7 spot after
Yeah.
that. So you kind of like I'll take it for what it is. It's you can't put that all in the bullpen, but they did fold the second that happened. Like the floodgates opened, so you don't want to have more stuff like that. Edwin Diaz hit 99 the other day, though.
Okay.
So I mean, if he's I don't know legit closer again, I don't know. He's got 10 saves too, so that's not bad. I'm just not sold on him, man. I wasn't at the beginning of the year. That's when I said like the two New York teams weren't going to make the playoffs. Obviously, I'm going to be wrong, but if there's one that I want to be right about, it is this one right here because I do not
Oh
like the
yeah.
Mets.
No one likes the Mets. Firstly, we can go back to what I asked the chat. For some reason, it didn't pop up the first time. But the last time that it was the same two teams in the World Series was 1977 and 1978. Cam, can you guess the two teams?
1977, 78. The Reds?
No, you
I
don't
mean,
got
it
to think
wasn't
too
the
hard on this one.
it was not the Dodgers and the Yankees, was it?
It was the Dodgers and the
Oh
Yankees.
my God.
Yeah, it's a sign that yes,
Yeah, it
as
is.
as he said,
Holy
it is
cow,
it is a
dude.
sign. It's happening again, guys. It's happening again.
Oh my God. Yeah. If that was ever like a telltale, like this, because that's how baseball is. That's what baseball will do. These magical, like the last time this happened, it was these two teams. Sure enough, it's these two teams. Yeah, you're right. Fair. Both of those teams are going to be in the World Series again.
Yep, yep.
Put your money on it. Put your money. What's the odds on those two teams facing? That's
I'll
great value. Regardless, that is
yeah,
great value.
probably yeah. It's probably the most likely one on it. So, but it'd
But
still
it's
be
still
some
going to be
crazy
plus
value.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's
yeah.
still going to be crazy plus money. I might do that tonight. After the second we're done here, I might do it.
We can go
I'm
back to the
convinced.
Mets though. Yeah, I think like Juan Soto is concerned, but I think it's because he's pressing. He's not getting a ton of pitches to hit because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're just going to pitch to Pete, and Pete's destroying him. But we've seen what happens when you pitch to Juan because they had to pitch to Juan last year because of Aaron Judge, and he hit like what
Yep.
315, 40 bombs and got on base in like a 480 clip.
Yep.
That's better than Pete Alonso. I'm sorry, buddy, but it is. I'd rather pitch to Pete than Juan Soto any day of the
I
week.
mean, for sure. For sure. In almost any scenario. And what do we got? 38 walks. I mean, yeah,
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
it's more walks than strikeouts. So I think he is swinging a little bit. He's like you said, pressing. So he's like expanding the zone a little bit. Um, he's so good though. Like he just commands the box so well. I don't see it being the only reason it would be like a year-long thing is if he actually is like disgruntled and unhappy playing in New York or unhappy with his current circumstance. If it's just like I'm pressing right now, like it's his baseball, so like everyone goes through this stuff, then you know it's temporary and he'll be fine. My only concern is it more than that? Is it something with the clubhouse? Is it something with the team? Because I'm hearing other
The
stuff too, like stuff
yeah.
about like not hustling and things like that. So it's like it you don't wanna make it out to be more than it is, but if it is, then it would be an issue.
I don't think it's him getting like disgruntled or anything, but I have seen the thing where there's no validity to this or anything like that. But I saw on Twitter while doing my my deep dives into it that apparently Juan Soto himself wanted to stay a Yankee, but his family wanted him to go be a Met. Don't know how true that is, but it's something to think about. Maybe I mean like maybe he just didn't want to be there, but I mean it's his family. He's got to go do what they want. So you never
Why
know.
but why? Why would that even like, I don't
I
wanna be
guess
like, "What's the difference?" But, like, for real, like, it's not that big of a difference. Same
maybe
state.
the area or something like that, or maybe
You
The
commute.
Mets offer the family something. I don't know that the Yankees didn't. It's probably something, or it could just not even be true. I've just heard
Yeah.
rumors of that. Um, with the Mets too, Manaea and Montes do come back, but I trust Manaea.
I do as well. I
Montes,
do
you
as
never
well.
know what you're getting.
No,
He
he
could
had
go out
that.
there and give you didn't he like almost throw a no hitter like 2 years ago or something like that,
Yeah,
and
and then,
then
like,
he also will
the
go
first
and
half of
give up like
last year,
8.
he was, like, with the Reds, and it was awful, and then he got traded to the Brewers, and he was actually, like, pretty good. So it's like, what version are you gonna get? Like, Montes, you're gonna end up with, like, somewhere in the low to mid 4s ERA, and it's gonna be average strikeout rates, and he's, like, I don't wanna say a non-factor, but, like, he doesn't move the needle that much. Now Manaea, when Manaea is going well, he is an extremely good pitcher, and if you've got
Yeah,
him and David Peterson, you got 2 tough lefties, that does help the rotation a lot.
for sure. We can move on to our most underrated players in baseball. Chat, feel free to drop your most underrated players in baseball.
Let me go to my
I'll go
thing.
first this time. We'll mix
Go
up the
ahead.
order a little bit. My first guy that is very underrated, and he's still young, Michael Garcia. Third baseman, Royals, currently hitting 306, 374, 482 slash line, 856 OPS, 5 home runs and 10 stolen bases. The dude hits. Like, I get that, on the Royals, you got, you know, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvi, kind of, um, all the bigger names. And you got Michael Garcia. He is going to be a very big piece for them for the next. I think he's probably still got like 4 years left on his deal in arbitration, probably. So he's going to be a stud.
I like him a lot. It was one of the, because we were talking about it earlier, and I didn't wanna do that many AL Central players, but it's just like, it's
They
so
have
easy to
so
pick them
many.
because no
Yes.
one thinks about that division. Everything's in the East or the West, and the Central teams kinda get left under the radar. And so my first one will also be an AL Central team. I'm gonna go with Steven Kwan, who, hey,
Chat
but
agrees.
that could not have been more perfectly timed. That is, I kind of alluded to it a little bit last time. Like, I, it's not like gaudy numbers, but like this dude's I mean, he's gonna be like around a 300 hitter every single season. He is a Gold Glove defender. He does everything right. He is the perfect prototypical leadoff hitter, especially for a team like the Guardians who kind of thrive on like bat to ball stuff, not like gaudy power numbers, but like they're just good hitters that are going to make pitchers work. Like he is perfect. Doesn't swing and miss a lot. He doesn't chase it a lot. Like works some counts. I think this dude is so underappreciated and is at a young age has been like the leadoff hitter. And now he's just now entering his prime and people still aren't talking about him while he's hitting 300 and is probably going to steal 20 more bases this year and win a Gold Glove.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one from the chat. I don't think Freddie Freeman is underrated at this very moment within the state of MLB. All time, that man is heavily underrated. He's
I
one
was
of the
going to
greatest first
say,
basemen of all time.
I think Freddie is underrated when he was a Brave. I think when
For
he was
sure.
a Brave, he was one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated players in the league. Um, I think once he got to the Dodgers, because you kind of hear his name, it's like Shohei, Mookie, Freddie, and they're all kind of like lumped in together as like the three superstars. I think he's like getting that clout now. I think when he was a Brave, he did not get it nearly enough. But I
No,
like
not
if you
not
go
until about 2020, 2021.
overall career, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, he is. I think he should be up there, like talked about as a top 5 to 7 first baseman of all time, and he's not really talked about.
Yeah,
To be honest, he is so good. My next one is a guy who has just consistently been a staple at shortstop for the past 3-4 years. He hasn't had like amazing numbers until probably this year. He's just been kind of that not replacement level but above average baseball player with good defense. Geraldo Perdomo for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's currently hitting 302 now, over 300. Has 6 bombs, 11 stolen bases at 891 OPS. He's kind of held down that position when the Diamondbacks really haven't had anything probably decent since like Nick Ahmed, when he
Ahmed
was kind of
probably.
the defensive wizard that was an okay hitter. Now
Yeah,
he's um and it's kind of it helped them in their because they got Jordan Lawler coming up right behind him, and he's kind of his development's kind of slowed down. He was supposed to be up, I feel like a year and a half, 2 years ago, or even last year, and he hasn't been able to come up. So Perdomo's kind of been a good stabilizer there for him, and he doesn't get talked out about at all.
at all. No one talks about him at all, and he's a staple in that lineup. He's a super important player for them. A good team is a super important player for a good team. Which will lead me to my next guy. I think the best player on one of the best teams in the the best team in the AL Central, one of the best teams in the American League, and that is Riley Green. This guy, he is the top hitter in the lineup. It's undisputed at this point. He's hitting 286, leading the team in home runs, 34 RBIs. He strikes out a little bit too much, but he's a young guy, so guys are going to strike out. It's just the name of the game that we're in. The only thing he doesn't do is steal bags, and he's not like an elite defender. But if you're the best hitter on the team, you do not have to be an elite defender. No one talks about this guy at all because probably he's in the AL Central, but he is leading this team offensively, most statistical categories, but also just in terms of like he is an elite level hitter. He is only 24 years old. Okay, so he hasn't even entered the prime yet. By the time he gets to like 26, 27, 28, I would hope my guess is he ends up not exactly like a Jose Ramirez, because Jose Ramirez will steal much more bags. So like Riley Green's not like he's not going to steal bags, but in terms of like what he can do, producing runs, doubles, and home runs, I think he's going to be that level hitter inside the box, not running bases, but inside the box. He will be one of the top 5 hitters in the American League. He will be the number 1 hitter because Jose Ramirez will be old by then. He will be the number 1 hitter in the American League Central, better than Bobby Witt Jr. Not a better base runner than Bobby Witt Jr. He will be a better pound for pound hitter than Bobby Witt Jr.
Okay. Okay.
Not baseball player. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
yeah,
just hitter. Not
there's
better
not
baseball
many.
player.
Yeah, there's not many folks that are. I think I can only name at the moment 2 better baseball players than Bobby Witt Jr.
No, he is
Um,
in terms a baseball player, Bobby Witt Jr. is a top 3. But in the box, the damage that is to be done in the box, Riley Green will surpass that. It's
yeah,
like back in the day when I thought like Nelson Cruz was like he's not the best baseball player, but he was a top 5 most dangerous hitter, and everyone kind of feared him. Like Riley Green's going to be on that level. Him and Torkelson are both going to be super high end hitters. Not
Oh
great
yeah.
defenders, but high-end hitters. Which you know me,
Some
that's what
more.
I care about anyways. I want
Yeah.
dudes that can swing it. I don't
Yeah.
care about defense.
Some more. I Jacob Wilson maybe a little bit. I think he'll be underrated 2, 3 years down the line because he hasn't hit for that much pop. But right
I
now, I
would
think
say
strict.
I would say like a Lawrence Butler before Jacob Wilson.
Yeah, because Wilson's getting the hype because he's going to win Rookie of the Year. But I think after that, once he's not getting the hype of being like in an award race, because I don't think he's
Yeah.
like going to win like MVP or anything like that. I think that's when his hype will die down. Then another one. I mean,
Oh,
I
okay.
can't haste the guy,
Okay.
but this dude, he's probably gonna get top 5 in Cy
And
Young quietly this year.
and like and I can like I know I'm old enough, like I'm mature enough. He is 1,000% extremely underrated. He is a like if you were gonna put a guy like career trajectory, like in terms of like the guy on the mound, he is going to be one of the top 5 most underrated pitchers because he's been doing the same thing. I It's been what 6 years now, and he's just done
Something
the
like that.
same
Yeah.
thing year after year. The issue is I don't understand how. I I can like watch a game with me. You guys watch a Giants game with me when Logan Webb is on the mound, and I will play for play, pitch for pitch, I will call what he's going to throw with a 97% accuracy rate. It does not make sense to me that they can't, and I'm not facing it, so I get it. Like, I'm sure if I'm in the box, it's a completely different set of circumstances, but I know what he's going to throw in almost every count. So, like, we're playing these tendencies. Why are we not hitting him just a little bit better? The stuff has got to be gross. It has to be. It doesn't look it, and I know what's coming, but he gets everyone out. I don't know.
Maybe he, like, hides the ball really well or something.
He might. It's like Shota Imanaga, like,
Yeah.
he doesn't have, like, tremendous stuff, but he hides it for a long time, and, like, well, his slot's a little bit different, like, he's got, like, a little bit of a different slot, but it's 6 years, guys, and we still can't touch him. 6 years. He hasn't changed anything. That's the crazy part. He has not, like he doesn't develop a new pitch, like, he hasn't
Nope.
increased velo. He is just the same dude since he started.
He's like, "Imma come at you. Hit
I don't get it, and he throws a ton of strikes. He throws a
it."
ton of strikes. He's not like effectively wild where people are like, "Oh my god, he might hit me." Like he just throws the ball over the plate.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. My last guy is a guy who kind of has had like a career resurgence because he was kind of like left for dead. I think with the Tigers, I believe. Then last year he signed with Cleveland and had an elite finish to the year, helped them get to the ALCS, and was really good. Now he's with the Cubs. Matthew Boyd is balling this year. Currently 4-2, 51 innings pitched, a 2.9 ERA with 53 strikeouts. I mean, usually you get those numbers, you're in all-star territory. No one talks about Matthew Boyd as probably he might be like as of right now. Like you take Justin Steele, you take Shota over him, but like in 2025, he might be the best pitcher on the Cubs.
My only Does this continue? Like, is this stuff real? Is it that real?
I think it genuinely. I don't know about 2.98. But
Like,
I mean,
but if he's a 3.5, 3.6, if he's like
that's in the cards easily because I think last year he did it as well.
because
Like
it's a
it
tough
wasn't.
park to do it in too,
Yeah,
especially once it gets warmer.
I think he does do it because 2.98. I don't think so. 3.5, 3.6. I think so because he's shown that down the stretch last year he was really good, and in the playoffs he was really good, and he's been good to start in like I think like 8 or 9 starts. So
Yeah,
that's like not like a full year's worth of starts, but it's a hefty chunk, a hefty sample size to know that okay, this guy can pitch.
I think I think that he's been huge for them. First of all, the only concern that I have is what happens when it gets warmer. You kind of saw it with Shota a little bit last year. It's like once it gets a little bit warmer, the ball just jumps. So it's like,
Yeah,
but then in the same breath, it's like even if that does happen, it's like a Coors factor almost, where it's like, well, what does his road stats look like? Like, is he throwing well on the road? It's like if the park favors the hitters a little bit, like you're going to expect some elevation in the ERA. but like, what do those other underlying metrics look like? And I think if he can maintain those, like, he's legitimate. His stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, and he does get hurt a lot, but I think he's finally starting to stay healthy, and that's why he's been so good.
The same thing hap Tiger, same thing happened with Skubal. Everyone was
Hmm.
like, "Skubal's nasty." I was like, "Skubal's nasty, he's just never on the field." And now healthy Skubal, I'm not saying Matthew Boyd is gonna be him, but it's like that same kinda thing is like, when guys are able to be healthy and, like, get in a rhythm with being on the field and feeling good throwing, like, that's when you see how good they really are. It could be happening with him now. Mine, I'm gonna go with a pitcher as well. I had so many different directions that I could go with this. This might not be my best work, but it goes with my narrative because Nick Pivetta was my dark horse leading into the season, and he is doing a very good job for me. So I rated him highly. I feel like a lot of other people, like when the Padres signed him, it really flew under the radar. And I looked at it and I was like, that is a massive pickup because he's gonna end up being like their 3 guy, maybe their 4 guy. But if he can have like he has starts where this is one issue is he has starts where he is absolutely dominant and will strike out 10, and then he has blowups. Um, much like a Dylan Cease. Like Dylan Cease has like elite stuff. Pavetta has like close to elite stuff, but blowups will happen with guys like this because they tend to challenge hitters because they believe in the stuff, so they throw stuff over the middle of the plate, which doesn't always work for them. But when he's going, he's nasty, and he has been going so far this year. Not a lot of people are talking about him because he is probably the 4th or 5th most well-known pitcher in that rotation. Like, no one knows who he is. But he is quietly, through 9 or 10 starts, having an all-star caliber year. So I'm gonna go with Nick Pivetta.
Love it. We
He
can
might
move
he
on.
might be an all-star. Like, he might
He
actually that might
could.
actually happen. That might
It
actually happen.
it definitely could. The one thing I worry about with that is just, like every team has to get a player, so someone could
Sure.
steal a spot. That's the one
I'm
thing.
think I'm thinking, like, who on the Padres is pitching better?
No one.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, obviously, there's gonna be hitter like, Tatis is
Yeah.
gonna be if a guy goes, like, it's not gonna be Pivetta, it's gonna be Tatis. But if they get multiple, I don't see why he's not one.
I think they'll get multiple. I think they'll get Tatis. Machado's not hitting for much power, but he's still hitting
He's
over
hitting
300.
300.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I think he'll go, and then I think Pavetta can go easily. I don't know. I haven't seen Merrill too much since he got back from injury, but he could get hot and go too. So you never know with
For
him.
sure. For sure.
We can move on to our last thing, our weekly home run pick. Last week, I would describe it as I believe it was like 2022, where it was the Guardians and Rays, where they went into 16 innings and the Guardians won 1-0. That's how I would describe this week from all of us. Out of all three of our players, one person hit one home run, and that happened to be Cam's guy. So he has now won three straight. Um, yeah, Ellie hit one home run. Kyle Tucker hit zero, and Corbin Carroll hit zero. Of course, at time of recording, we record on Wednesdays, but it cuts off Tuesdays. Oh, no, we record on Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Jesus Christ! But it cuts off Monday.
Yep.
Kyle Tucker hit a bomb today. Lovely.
So
Uh,
you would've tied. You would've tied me.
Man, but I would have got a point at least.
True.
Um,
Instead of just building up this fantastic lead.
yeah. Well, we're gonna do something. We just winged it this week. I actually have two guys that I have written down. And I'm just gonna choose one. I think I already know who I'm gonna go. We'll
Okay.
go with Nate's first. Then we'll have you go, Cam. Nate
Okay.
stole mine. He just texted it to me, and I had already chosen mine. But he's a busy guy, so he can have him. So if he wins, I'm gonna be mad. He's going with Matt Olson. He's hit like 5 home runs in his last like 6 games, something like that. So he's been on a tear, and he's been kind of due for it. So yeah, uh, Nate has Matt Olson. Chat, drop yours in who you think's gonna hit the most home runs from Wednesday to next Monday.
So the last few times I've made sure that they like play every day. Been like my I don't know, qualifying thing. I'm gonna change it. This guy's gonna be off on Monday. But I love who he's playing, and I love how his team as a whole has been hitting. I think he's had 3 multi-hit games in the last 4. not no power yet, but generally, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Once you start having those multi-hit games and you're spreading spreading the ball around, eventually those start to elevate and they become home runs. I'm gonna go with Bryce Harper. I think it's time for
Okay.
Bryce Harper to have a massive week. He's been waiting. He's been struggling. I think he's definitely coming out of it. You can just tell by his at bats. Not he struck out like one time in the last 5 games, drawn walks. And he's facing some pretty, I think he's going to have a game at Coors. I think they're playing the White Sox. So, you know, it should go well for him. It should go well for the team, but I'm going to have him as my guy.
Lovely. The chat has sent theirs in, and this was one of the guys I was deciding between, and it's not the one I decided to go with. Cody Bellinger recently did a not swing change, like he kind of just like raised his hands a little bit, and
Okay.
has been mashing since then. Hit a grand slam Sunday night baseball against the Mets. Kind of just like it was kind of the dagger. He's hit like I think like 4 home runs in his last 13 games on a 13-game hitting streak. So he's been on fire since doing it. But my guy is actually his teammate. Aaron Judge has only hit 1 home run in the last week.
I feel like this should be illegal.
He's due. He's
I changed
so
mine to
due.
Shohei.
Hey, Aaron Judge would have tied with Ellie last week.
That is
He's only hit
true.
1 home run. So, and the power can only stay down for so long. And I checked too. So he's playing on Thursday, the normal off day, and he's in Yankee Stadium from Tuesday to Thursday. Then Friday through Sunday, he's in Coors.
Oh my god.
So I mean, Cody's there too as well.
He might hit 9.
Hey, I should have just said I was going to go with Cody until the chat said it, so I had to pivot there, and we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Oh man. So what are you gonna do, Aaron, or are you gonna?
Yes, I'm gonna do
Okay,
Aaron. And chat will
you're
have
gonna
Cody,
win. You're gonna
and
win.
we'll start. We'll put chat where the person in last is. So only 1 point. And we'll see if chat can catch up.
Okay. Wait. So how many points is first place?
You're at 5.
Okay.
I'm at
Wait.
2,
What has
and
it?
then Nate's at 1.
5. So how many points is it?
Technically, so I did it this week. Since me and Nate technically tied, I was like, well, what do we do here?
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
we should not get 0. We should not get any points for having 0. But like Cam can't get 2, so I gave you 1 and gave us 0.
Okay. That's fine. I'm good with that. It's not like I blew. Yeah. Like I didn't.
If you
I won.
if Ellie would have hit 2 or 3, I would have gave you 2 points,
Yeah. It's not
100%.
like I blew out the competition or anything. So I'm good with that. I trust you to be honorable. You do the math how it makes sense to you, and I trust where the chips fall in the end.
That's all I had today, though.
All right. Before we go, we'll tell the people what they need to do if they have that. See, that's it. I was like, it should be illegal to
Boring
take
wins
Judge.
games.
It
Hey,
should just,
boring wins games.
and I'm letting it go because I am in first by a considerable margin. So they do have some catching up to do. I'll let it slide this time. We might make it a
Sometimes,
thing though. Like you can't pick the same guy twice. We might make that a thing.
oh yeah, we definitely can make that a thing. Or you at least can't pick the same guy twice in a row, or like,
Yeah, something like
or he's
that
like off limits for like the next like month or something like that.
for sure.
Because like I will not remember that that
Yeah,
you
no, I'm
chose
not. I already
someone
forgot
in
the first.
August.
I forgot
So
who I picked week 1. So yeah, no, I get
we'll
it.
do
But I
something
mean, like
about
maybe
like
not back to back. Yeah, back to
yeah,
back
we'll do something like that. Yeah, I
for
will
sure.
go ahead. Yeah, follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Spotify. Usually, I try and put these Spotify's out the next morning at around 7 a.m. If you weren't able to tune into the live, YouTube usually goes out around 11 a.m. We've been seeing, some good results with that one. But yeah, share us on any platforms that you want. Tell your grandma to come subscribe with us. I mean,
Absolutely.
freaking do whatever.
As long as she knows
If she
ball.
Yeah, if she likes baseball, she likes college football, likes any type of sport, and she wants to come ask a question to us, the professionals, just let us know.
All right, that is going to do it for us today. Same time, same place next week. We might not have Nate again. He said the next couple weeks are going to be tough. Hopefully, we can get him on, but if not, expect to see at least me and Will next week, same time, same place. We appreciate you guys watching and listening. We will see y'all next time.
Appreciate chat. Peace.